The origins of the Constitution of the State of Sarawak. This information comes from Declassified Documents. The origin of the Constitution of the State of Sarawak can be traced back in July 31, 1962. From the agreement on the setting up of the Federation of Malaysia. It is an agreement in principle signed at Admiralty House by Mr. Macmillan and Tunku Abdul Rahman. This document, as commented by H.G. Turner of the Commonwealth Relations Office, seems likely to become a basic historical document in the formation of the Federation of Malaysia. It was printed and circulated, but on a highly restricted basis. Unlike the Cobbold Report, most of the provisions of the agreement, annex and appendices remained secret. The only part to be published on August 1, 1962, and announced in both houses at Westminster as well as in the Federal Parliament, was the joint statement, Appendix D. Hereby is the Appendix A of the agreement which has been declassified. Entitled A Framework of Initial State Constitutions of Sarawak and North Borneo. The Governor. 1. There will be a governor of each state with powers similar to those possessed by the governors of Malacca and Penang, that is, he will be a constitutional head of state. 2. The governor in each state will be appointed by His Majesty, the Yang Pertuanagon, acting in his discretion but after consultation with the chief minister of the state concerned. However, in the case of the first appointment, the Malayan government will consult the British government before tendering advice to His Majesty. The Executive. 3. The executive authority of the state will be formally vested in the governor, but he will normally be obliged to act on the advice of an executive council. Thus the general direction and control of the state governments will be exercised by the executive council. The governor will, however, act in his discretion in (a) the appointment of a chief minister, see below, and b. the withholding of consent to a request for the dissolution of the Legislative Assembly. 4. The Executive Council in each state will be appointed as follows, (a) The governor will first appoint as chief minister to preside over the Executive Council a member of the Legislative Assembly, see below, who in his view is likely to command the confidence of a majority of the members of the Assembly. b. The governor will then, on the advice of the chief minister, appoint other members from among the members of the Legislative Assembly. Until such time as the Legislative Assembly is fully elected, these will include the State Secretary, the State Legal Advisor and the State Financial Officer, see below, as ex officio members. 5. The Executive Council will be collectively responsible to the Legislative Assembly. The Legislature. 6. The legislature in each state will consist of the governor and a legislative assembly. 7. Initially, the existing state legislatures will continue in being as the state legislative assemblies. Until each assembly is fully elected, a speaker will be appointed by the governor, and the state secretary, the state legal advisor and the state financial officer will be members ex officio, and the practice of nominating members will also continue. 8. Fully elected membership for the legislative assemblies will be introduced as soon as practicable. In the first instance, election will be effected through the electoral college system. Administrative structure. 9. The principal officer in charge of administrative affairs in the state will be styled State Secretary. He will be the channel through whom instructions pass from the Executive Council to the civil service. 10. Other principal officers will be the State Legal Advisor and the State Financial Officer. 11. Below these, government will be effected through departments, each in the charge of a head of department. 12. The federal government will establish a department charged with general responsibility for the administrative integration of the new states into the federation. The staff of the department will include officers with specialized knowledge and experience of the territories.